Hello ladies and gentlemen, I am PANCZASU and welcome back to my Cravers tutorial slash playthrough, this time around with the new patch preview. And I did mention that I was very excited to try this out, but it didn't explain why. Did it introduce some very pristine new features? Well, no, I think I mentioned that part in the past actually. But it did provide a lot of changes. Are there a lot of balance changes? Well, there are some. Also, sorry for the Discord notification. Ignore that. Unprofessional, I know. Well, no, there are not too many balance changes per se. There are a lot of fixes, however, and there is a lot of something that I was most particularly interested in, and that is AI improvements. AI now is less automated and more adaptive, and most importantly, it's not as dumb as it used to be, it's actually smarter. And how smart is it exactly? Well, the moment I loaded into this game, I had a chock full of notifications, and I actually disabled some of them before the start of this video, and some of them I can still disable because they are kind of meaningless. But, for instance, you'll notice that suddenly the Vodiani assimilated a lot of minor factions that previously they just left unchecked, including these guys that I thought loved me, but apparently they loved Vodiani more. Now Vodiani suddenly realized that hey, there's nothing stopping me from assimilating them, and sure, it doesn't provide them bonuses. Okay. It does provide me with a penalty though, because that's a 60 approval less than what I was having before. And look at my Empire approval. It's down the drain. In fact, it's so low I need to drink to... I don't know, I just need a drink. But being on this panel, we can also notice some other important and welcome changes. For instance, the fact that, well, now I can easily tell which systems have a spaceport, and in general this screen just looks clearer and gives me more information at a glance, which I do appreciate. Also important thing about the victory is that now the AI is aware of such thing as victory conditions, and it's shooting for a specific one depending on whichever faction it's playing as. All in all, AI should now play better, which means that previously I was playing this game, kind of relaxed with the assumption that, well, I have until around 1090 to win the game. Now, I think I have way less time than that, and to add to the difficulty spike that I am suddenly facing, my empire is now, it turned from being an amazing, powerful empire, which I didn't need to try even because everything was going my way, into an empire where things are going horribly wrong in many aspects. Look at my influence, look at my approval, I showed you my approval. Everything is horrible over here. So I'm curious how it's gonna go. Am I actually going to lose? I don't know. Maybe next time I'll get a notification that AI is about to win, and then I will be somewhat surprised. Although, to be fair, it's about time for the first notification to appear, but the first is still far from the game being over, so it should be okay. Anyway, let's have a fight. We're not gonna watch this fight, and we're going to... I'm not sure how much respect I should show to this new AI. I'm not sure how it's going to react either, because this is actually the very first time I'm playing with this patch preview turned on. So I will go for this kind of setup to maximize the amount of ships I have in the middle flank and protect it. I have too small of a fleet to spread it out, I think, so let's go ahead and see how well Tato is going to work. It should work relatively well, one would assume. How well does it go? Well, I'm not sure if this would have been the same in the other scenario, but maybe it wouldn't have. The enemy went for a parachute to shields approach, which was a pretty... actually bad choice, but whatever. It did keep them far from harm's way, so maybe they didn't have any other option but to go for that. They didn't put anybody in the top fleet, instead they put most of their ships in the middle and some on the bottom, which meant that my top fleet was kind of useless-ish, and the bottom one had free reign over my middle flotilla. Which is interesting, they never did that, ever. And they specifically went for long range, because they knew they benefited from being in long range, and I benefited from being in close range. This changes this game drastically. I need to make a video about this patch alone, I think, and start a new playthrough with somebody else, because holy balls, the game just changed in so many ways I can tell. There's also a bug I can see because this ship keeps blinking in and out, but whatever, let's ignore that. Oh yeah, where the balls was that? I'm kind of... oh yeah, that's the actual boss trying to invade. Well, I think I should still be able to invade it, I would assume. And yeah. Awesome, Oyad is mine, that's exactly what I wanted. Of course, Yubela is under siege as it always is, but such things happen, I suppose. Also, Saganus is about to be mine, wherever it is, so let's go ahead and have a look-see. Ah, it's this system, right, that I almost conquered last time. Let's go ahead and keep moving. Now, keep in mind, right now my population really doesn't appreciate me having so many systems, so I could stop. But I don't feel like stopping since they're all traitorous approval anyway. And you know, I couldn't plan for this because I just changed the patch. Then I might as well, you know, try to make the best use I can out of this situation. So let's go ahead and keep fighting. Now this situation, yeah, I wasn't afraid of anything that would happen in that scenario. And can I just straight on invade the system? I don't think I can. Maybe I'll do that in a few moments, not right now. And the same thing applies to the system. Besides, I don't really want to invade those systems I just don't really care about them one way or another. Okay then, so I'll need somebody at Oyad. You will guard Oyad from any possible invasions, whereas you go back and guard Yubela, because I do need somebody to guard Yubela, because people keep trying to destroy it for some reason. Alright, with that done, let's have a quick look. See, you dear sir, you are ready to send out some more probes, and as much as I would like to discover all the curiosities on Leo, which there are plenty of, I also want to just see more. So let's see more. Send in a probe down south-ish and see if I can find something. I'm kind of shooting randomly, but maybe I'll be able to find something that's relatively promising. Hydrus. Hydrus, you have Hyperium, which is always nice, I suppose, but what you need to do more than anything is prepare for production of military units. And this is going to be difficult considering the amount of approval I currently have. What are those ships? Those ships could fall. I only have slices though, and actually now that the AI is smarter, I'm going to do this, even though normally I wouldn't, because I feel like this is going to end poorly. But I want to test AI. How well will you adapt to this situation? I have a lot of glass cannon ships with beams and lasers installed on them. I want to get as close to you as possible. You have 3 ships, 1 is useless, but 2 are pretty big, and they are actually using energy weapons, including... Oh boy! This is so exciting! It's like... haha! AI is thinking now. Alright, how much better are the ships at close range than mine? The question is. Well, we're actually kind of equal. Did they just flat out copy my designs? I don't think so. But they are better at long range than I am, and at close range I am the one who gains the upper hand. Which tells me they are using lasers, but they aren't using beams, which I am using. So, Tier 2 doesn't specifically help me outside from the fact that it lets me get in as quickly on the enemy as possible, which is something, I suppose. But I really need another battle card action now, since they suddenly decided to use something else. Regardless, this is the best thing I can do, or is it? Let's go ahead and... wait a second. Why can I... Strange. I cannot click the thing that would let me unclick. Okay, I can just do this manually, I suppose. And I do have... oh no, wait, never mind, I only have 4 command points. I mistook the hero ship for a ship of my own, which is why I cannot actually put anybody in the top left flank. Understood. Alright, I don't think this battle is going to go very well, actually. Let's see how well it does go. Never mind, I actually still devastated the enemy. I assume it's because I actually had better equipment overall. Like, I actually had shooting, the enemy didn't. Apparently. Oh wait. No, they did have shooting, and I'm still reading those things wrong sometimes. And they just killed the enemy with laser weapons. I didn't even get to use beams, which is interesting. I suppose I still have just flat out better ships and ship designs than the enemy. In fact, let's have a quick look-see. I just want to see what kind of weapons the enemy is using specifically. And those stats didn't tell me that, but I want to know, are they using like Hyperium upgrades? I don't think they are, otherwise I would have lost this or have taken more damage, but let's have a quick look-see. So now, they are just using the default ones, but look at how cool this is! They are trying, and oh! They are, in fact, using a mix. Do you see the weapons? Holy balls, this is a change and a half. How? Okay, if you see a video later on in my channel showcasing the changes to this patch, You don't have to watch it because it's literally going to be this save file I'm on right now, explaining all the things that changed. Because this is mighty interesting. Wow. Thank you, Amplitude. That was... I mean, I could use this video, but this whole video is meant to actually progress. So, it's only been 5 minutes anyway. So, let's go ahead and have a quick look. See, I also had a hero, which is why it helped. Also, this standing skills thingy, it helps. It's not like, the most important thing ever, but it always was listed somewhere. It's now absolutely obvious for people who couldn't see those things before, which is, I suppose, important. More experience and more vision? I won't say no to that. I need that vision, actually. As funny as it might sound. I really do. So I'm actually going to go ahead and retrofit this hero with my newest and latest weapons, because the AI is now being a little bit too smart for their own liking. So let's go ahead and have a missile launcher at the top and a bunch of unstable slugs in the bottom. In fact, now let's have another missile over there, because I just like missiles a lot. And that's a lot of missiles on a single firing pad. Wow, okay, that's interesting and cute looking. Alright, let's apply the design. Spend a bit of adamantium on that ship, that's fine. And actually, wait a second, this ship also has energy enhancer, doesn't it? No, it doesn't. It has invasion thingies, but that's about it. I would like to exchange those, actually. I don't need them. I need probes, certainly. And I suppose I could use healing, but I don't think I actually could. I could have an adamantium enhancer. How good would that be? Yeah, that would be somewhat marginal improvement, I suppose. Or I can let you heal up, so that you can actually tank even better. You know what, why not? It's extra titanium that I have plenty of. Let's do just that. Let's make you a tank machine. Apply the design, nice and easy. And hey, now I have probes I can send out to different sectors of space, which is good for this hero. Alrighty, speaking of which, I have plenty of things to do. So first of all, approval. I need to try and deal with that. I'll start by actually unlocking infinite supermarkets, and I'm going to continue not with culture and vertex, because sure, it has culture and shock, but it doesn't give me enough. I'm still way over +2. That's not going to help me. There's also autonomous administration, which is a new upgrade, but again, I don't even have colony 4s unlocked, because I couldn't decide on what I want for my freeze. So that's useless. And of course there's Wellbeing Foundation, which is all cool and dandy, but there's also insectoid translation, which does require you to spend more industry, but provides a much bigger bonus, because I have way more than just 25 ships on my empire. So I'm going to go ahead and start unlocking that. And I should have more than enough science to boot. And speaking of which, let's go ahead and actually design my upgrades for my system. So, I'm going to go ahead and use Transvine, because I do need that. It's going to be extremely expensive, however. Oh, they increased its cost, haven't they? Okay. Alright, well, they did change some things around, I suppose. Still, 120 Transvine is a bit of a problem. So I might have to reconsider. Or I have to check where I get Transvine from, and actually I don't have a single source of Transvine that is connected to my trade networks. Where is Transvine? It's on Hydrus, and it's on just Hydrus. Is Hydrus my only source of Transvine? It cannot be, right? It might be. And if oh wait, I also have it on Warden. So I do have some sources of Transvine, they're just not very plentiful as all, which is a bit of a problem. So I can't use them reliably, so I just... Even though I would love to have extra approval, I need to think about things that I have plenty of. And that is extra food and extra... what you might call it? This thing, rating. And I'm going to go for those, because... Well, all of the other things I don't gain enough of, at all. Do I really want this? The extra food? Well, later on I will be able to turn food into actual production, so maybe I do actually want this. And super spots... I don't want either of those, actually. Let's keep waiting until I actually get something I can use and actually want, shall we? Also, more of you, thank you very much. And... I don't particularly care about any of these things, but so let's just save my money for unlocking more things that can carry my shrooms to my other domains. Speaking of which, this actually isn't related, but how about we design our Annihilator ship? Because it's about time, wouldn't you agree? So this little ship is... You know, it's going to pack a little bit of damage, I would say. So, what I'm going to do is make it pack a lot of damage, not just a little bit of damage. Which means that, first of all, its main gun, it's going to be the kinetic gun, the slug version of a gun. The reason being that if I just put a single missile in there, it's just one gigantic missile. First of all, it looks dumb and boring. I mean, look at this. That doesn't look like an ultimate weapon to me. And secondly, it's a very big amount of damage in a single projectile. And when that projectile reaches the enemy, sure, that ship that it hit is probably taking a humongous amount of damage, regardless how much stuff it has protecting it. But what happens if that ship, if between the time this missile launches and it hits the enemy ship, that ship is destroyed? Then a huge amount of damage is wasted. For that reason, I hate slow firing weapons on the big ship slot, and instead I tend to use something that's, you know, more fast firing. Because it's more reliable and it doesn't look as dumb. Now, however, I am going to use quite a bit of missiles, and I am also going to use some extra slugs as well, because, you know, first of all, fluff point, secondly, this ensures this ship will dominate at long range, because it has very powerful missiles that the enemy shouldn't be able to counter at this stage of the game, at least not with the technology they had last time. But additionally, if they do try to use missiles of their own, I can shoot them down. And this is a very difficult combo to counter as well, because how do you counter that? Well, you have to try to go for the close range approach, which requires you to use a mix of slugs and probably beams, or you can just try to go for full-on lasers, neither of which is entirely, you know, ideal, because you cannot use things like intensifiers to the fullest extent. Speaking of which, let's deal with those in a second, but first of all, let's go ahead and put some extra armor on the ship, because it certainly needs that, and some shielding as well, using old resources, because they are still more efficient, I would imagine. Extra speed, well, we do need some engines on this ship, I suppose. And as for what I'm going to do with the rest of the support modules, I think it's pretty obvious. We're going to give this ship more damage, because this is why you make the carrier ships. They are here to be awesome, and this ship is going to be exactly that. Now, I could make it heal itself, which would make it also a bit of a tank. And it's also a very tempting thing, because, okay, if the enemy uses missiles, I can shoot them down. If the enemy uses kinetics, well, they're not going to be at the most effective range at long range, and I also use them myself. So you know what? I think I might go ahead and use the repair thingy. Yeah, let's go ahead and do that. Apply the design. Oh, wait, did I do it correctly? I still should have 2 intensifiers. Yes, I do. Alright, good. I could also make it even more extreme and have 3 intensifiers, but I didn't. Now, there's a problem! I didn't expect this hero to not have what it takes to actually keep this system happy. And he doesn't have what it takes anymore. So this system really hates my guts. Which means that it's way less productive than it used to be, but it still has 2.1k of production, so it should be enough to make me an annihilator or 2. Or 3 even now, only 2, but still it's still a considerable amount. And speaking of which, I do need this approval, this extra approval, but there's also one other thing that I really care about, and that's Super Swords. It's extremely useful upgrade, and it also allows you to have way more ships than you otherwise could have. But insectoid translation, in this set of circumstances, I believe is actually more important. Now, there is another thing that was changed, and that is the laws. More importantly, hey, Super Daxak, does it look a bit different to you? Well, it should, because it's completely different. Same goes for actually Crown's exam. It says it was before, isn't it? Or maybe they nerfed it slightly. But Toys for Boys is a lot different. It still gives you extra approval, but instead of draining your science, which was okay in many situations in the past, now it drains your industry production, which is... I mean, it does make it a much more interesting thing for soft ones to get, for instance, but for me, it's not ideal, because if I now want to make my ships, well, it's going to be a bit difficult, isn't it? And the Brains Over Backs has also been changed, quite considerably, I might say. Safe Skies Bill, it's still there, and it's still an interesting thing, but not in my scenario situation, so yeah, overall, things are ridiculous, and considering how much influence I lose, I will have to stop using one of those things. Probably Spoils of War Act, because Azor Dam is kind of important for me right now. But even if I replace it with the Dodge of Boys, it's not going to help me all that much. It's only extra 20 approval and I lose 10% industry production. That's like, on some of my system, that's 200 industry production. I'm not sure if I'm comfortable with that. I mean, how much am I losing from the approval penalty? This thing doesn't actually tell me, which is a bit annoying, but I'm sure it tells me that somewhere. Oh wait, no! I don't lose anything. I still have my production. Okay, my production is where it was. Right, I confused. I'm sorry. Endless Legend. I played a lot of that game. You may have heard of it, potentially, at one point or another. Also, you were supposed to stop at the nip. Oopsie. Anyway, let's go ahead and have you guys scout out. There we go. Nice and easy. And look, my ships actually scout in the most accessible fashion now, which is also, I assume, a change. You, just go ahead and sleep. You, keep looking for the enemy home system. I know it's not the most optimal way of doing this. I should use scout ships or whatever, but those fleets at least can fight whatever they find. Those siege towers, however, really shouldn't be here, so I'm gonna send them back to Goblins for the time being, because, yeah, siege towers are vulnerable. I also need to prepare a fleet to send over that way real quick and have it, you know, prepare for combat. So let's have a quick think. How many ships can I fit in a single fleet? 22, that's considerable amount. Command points rather than ships. Okay. Sure thing. If that's 22... Oh, I'm going to apply on the fly. I would rather adapt on the fly, because math and recording videos, they don't go very well together. So let's go ahead and make 2 extra Reapers for the extra ability to move. And speaking of Reapers, I'm actually going to retrofit them somewhat, because, well, I can. So I'm not going to use missiles, because I want to test how well the AI adapts to my changes. So this guy is going to be a tank, it's going to be a close-range tank. Actually, can I support this? Let's not be stupid, let's have a quick look see at the battle tactics I have. I have 1 extra spot. So can I have something that allows me to put some ships in the middle flank close to the enemy and other ships in the other flanks far away from the enemy? Or the other way around? Well, let's have a quick look see. I have diplomatic immunity, not quite what I'm looking for, to be entirely honest with you. Irradiation now, hard target is interesting, but now... Sharpner munitions, I don't care about. Shield wall, short range defense bonus, no. Post-op analysis, that gives me a lot of options, admittedly. But otherwise it's kind of useless, because my ships should level up extraordinarily quickly. Extra damage bonus and critical hits, well, I kind of switched off energy weapons. This would have been extremely useful in the past, but now no longer is. Influential actually is something I should keep, but other things don't necessarily. Revive and rebuild. The idea of it I can support, like having my most damaging ship in my carriers in the middle flank and my Reapers in the top and bottom to soak up the damage, while the problem is the bottom flank would be... No, I need to have some damage. I would rather have tanks in the middle flank and the damaging ships in the top and bottom. So the reverse of revive and rebuild would be most welcome, but I don't have that. It doesn't look like it. I mean, get lucky is the closest thing I can think of. But let's keep looking, shall we? Yeah, no, I don't have anything that supports that. I can still go for get lucky, mind you. It's not going to be useless by any stretch of the imagination. And I can also go things like barrage, fire, and whatnot. But this tells me that, in general, I just cannot support the idea of Reapers being extremely close-range ships. So instead of using beams, which would have been interesting, I'm going to give them, well, lasers. Besides, they were never supposed to be, like, actual damaging ships, like the heavy damage sort of thing. They only have 1 single weapon and the ability to repair damage, and that's all they have. Also, you should have better shooting. I mean, seriously, you should. Okay, as for the rest of the things they do have, they can repair damage, they can give my ships extra movement. I need even more movement than that, I think. So, goodbye exercise, I don't need it anymore. I need even more movement. Now, this ship requires a ton of Hyperion to actually make, so I'm going to drop the Hyperion shield, I think. And that's only 2 Hyperion, actually. And the other shield is just way weaker, so no, I have to keep it. Unless I use this shield instead. But this would even further increase the shield cost. So no, I'm not going to do anything of the sort. Right now, the way the ship is designed is good enough, I would say. So let's go ahead and apply the design. And make those new updated Reaper ships. Where the balls are you? There we go. Updated repairs, 2 of them in a single 10, that's good enough. They should move extremely quickly and get to Trireme in no time. That's my hope at any rate. Yuda says, you need to... I don't need extra military actually, I have plenty of it. So let's work on science stuff. Sim goes for Edasir, I would assume, although... Also another cool improvement, you can now see overpopulation. Let's go ahead and colonize the sterile planet, shall we? It's going to be fun, I'm sure, for a lot of my population. As for you, dear says, I can ban the Guardians for extra approval, but this would be meaningless and pointless, and I'm not gonna do anything of the sort, thank you very much. Instead, let's go for microwave pipes, because they're extremely useful, and bonusing. Cygnus, what can I do with you? Well, probably not much right now. Let's start with microwave pipes for the time being. I can install a new trade company subsidiary at some point, but right now is not the point, I would say. Alright, you guys, can you fight this fleet? The 2 cruisers? Unlikely. But maybe they... let's heal you up. That costed a lot, but that's fine, I still have the money. And we'll see what happens. This guy will need to stay here for a moment, because the Voidania are still looking around, even though they only have 1 system under their control. This then is taking a long time. I know we have to adjust and adapt. Oyad. Alright, Oyad needs something. Well, I forgot where it is. I should just click on it. Oh wait, it's the system I just conquered this very turn. Right, let's start making all of the improvements, because it doesn't have any. It doesn't have any population either. It's going to get one in 21 10s, until then it's a useless scrap of junk. So let's go ahead and send some population from a system that is already kind of useless. And it's just flat out overpopulated, like Host for instance. Host has a lot of depleted planets, and in fact, let's get rid of some of the slaver penalty, like so, because I'm not harvesting this planet right now anyway, and send those guys over to Oyad. Oh, this is also much nicer, because I actually can select the system and see everything at a glance, which is lovely. Previously it was a bit more annoying, if you remember. So there we go, and let's go ahead and end the 10. Wow, 22 minutes, 1:10. I know, I think it's a record day for me, but I think you will forgive me, because a lot of things changed, and I'm kind of spazzing over this recent patch. So anyway, yeah, imminent victory, that's actually signed for me. I thought this is going to be a warning that the enemy is about to achieve it. I mean, it makes me feel good. And admittedly, I have conquered 4... I currently have control over 4 home systems, but don't get the wrong impression. We still have a long way ahead of us. But let's enjoy this music for the time being, but don't let it give you... Don't give in to the false sense of security is what I'm getting at. Competitive quest, yeah, okay, good. And a fight over there, and a new population collection bonus for pulsars, and another fight. And the enemy is invading Ceres. Oh wow, okay, you just kind of made a run by. Again. Somewhat annoying, but whatever. You just say, what can you do for me? Do I care about eating plants faster with this guy? I actually do, because this will allow me to move him to newly conquered systems and just eat them up ridiculously quickly. I want to do that actually, but let's have a quick look see. Oh yeah, I do want to do that. Let's eat the planet up. Let's do this quickly. This is going to make it much more productive. So let's go ahead and apply the changes. This will allow him to unleash his true sense of craverity, or whatever it should be called. Look at how my plants are easily almost depleted, which is kind of funny, but that's how this hero ability works. It is actually useful though, in my opinion. Alrighty then. So 2 annihilators that pumped the ship command points to 16 out of 22. Over there I have extra repairs. That's extra 6. And that's going to be all I can fit in the fleet. Alright, well that's actually good, I would say. So, with that in mind, which way do I want to send them? I need to send those guys to farther. And the fastest way to do this is... How do you want to do this game? Through Lyra, and to get to Lyra you want to go to Dainab, and to get to Dainab you want to just depart right away. Which tells me that I need those repairs, because I do want those repairs to be with that fleet. So, because then it's going to be much faster. So I'm going to move them into position and to give this fleet even more speed. And I'm also going to assign this heroine to lead this fleet. This is going to make it extraordinarily quick, like lightning speed quick. And that's exactly what we needed. Also, I didn't use the Craver Dark. Shame on me, I suppose, but I needed to make this fleet fast, I suppose. Let's go ahead and queue them up real quick, though. And that's good enough for now. Let's follow it up with Cracker, I suppose. Trarim is going to need the same treatment. Oh wait, it did have Craver Black Hole. That's very nice, that's good. I'm happy about that bit. But let's dismiss all the things I can dismiss. Alright. Show me the invasion. I should conscript, otherwise I might lose the system draw. Oh wow, that was extremely close actually. Like surprisingly so, but I think the enemy has lost most of their stuff in this attempt, and I can keep up the conscription, so it should be okay, and I have population to spare. That's my hope at any rate. Let's finish the movement. I found the home system good, very, very good. Where the boss is it? It's over there. It's kind of far away, so not ideal, but at least I know where it is. So Yudu says... Okay, looks like this place is also completely separate from the rest of the galaxy. Like, this is the end of the arm. And the other arm goes like this and probably goes all the way to here. So what I need to design is redesign the scavengers real quick. And Yudu says you need to have a lot more probes, like so. Apply. Trarim, since you're working on something else anyway, go ahead and make me... Where are you? Scavengers. I need a lot of these. Now these scavengers are going to have to position on Deco or even Trarim and send the probes that way and hopefully uncover the enemy empire, because look at how far this arm of the galaxy goes without any connection to the middle. There's only one connection to the middle, which is ridiculous. So we have a long way to go over here. So Yudu says you go over to Varak as quickly as possible, try to capture it so it's not annoying. I don't care about the rest of this empire. I just need the home system, and I'm going to start trying to invade it as quickly as possible. Can I move in the siege towers fast enough? Probably not, but let's go ahead and try that anyway, I suppose. I shouldn't have moved them just yet. But whatever, it's faster to move them automatically, I suppose. You keep your default action, you do that as well. What is that? A black hole discovered, alright. You just fight. And I have a bunch of other fights that I need to deal with, but these can wait for a while. Destroy some civilian and have an actual fight with a settler. I don't know what you're doing here, buddy, but you shouldn't be here for your own sake, because you're not gonna survive. Excellent. And I can invade the system. Can I invade it right away? I actually might be able to. Yeah, I think I should be able to. So let's go ahead and... I think it's a 210 invasion, so let's start by preemptive bomb. Oh wait, no. That is good enough. The enemy had nothing on me, which is good. Alright, level 2 modernization first. Followed up with microwave pipes, I suppose. These take a long time, so let's just explore the subterranean thingy. Maybe it's a really good resource. It's the center of the galaxy, it very well might contain a very powerful and important resource. So Yudu says, you're not gonna do very well, I don't think. But whatever, and you are also not going to do very well, but let's keep trying and see how well exactly it goes. So, you actually destroyed both of these, and that's wholeheartedly because of the hero's upgraded weapon designs, I would imagine. You, however, lost it quite badly, and holy balls, there are a lot of fleets over here. Well, that's too bad, because I need to send this fleet in to attack ASAP. But I can redesign this flagship while I have the opportunity. So, you just said... You're going to use missiles like this, and then also some kinetics like this. Make you a bit versatile, you see. And also some better shooting, and as for the extra fluff, I like this extra fluff right now, actually. So let's apply the changes to this design. And I don't have enough... wait. Yeah, I should be able to retrofit that last repair. It costs me a lot of Hyperion though, but I can afford it, and it's kind of important, I think. Maybe, maybe not. I can change the battleships in good enough though. Do I want to do this while I have the opportunity? Let's have a quick look-see. Budget ships and good enough. So budget is supposed to be, well, a budget ship, but I have much more powerful weapons now than I had in the past. So I can just give them the ability to use extraordinarily powerful slugs, which I kind of want to give them. Because that's a lot of damage I can dish out. So let's go ahead and apply the design changes to the battleships. And as for good enough, what are you? I kind of want to keep good enough the way it was, actually. Yeah, let's keep it the way it is. Just because having some lasers to confuse the AI or maybe abuse the lack of shielding or whatnot. Let's do that. So apply the changes nice and quick. And as for the battle tactics, considering the kind of ships I'm running, I'm going to... Wait, what did I give to the repairs? I already forgot. My apologies. I need to check that real quick. Oh yeah, middle range weapons that kind of extend into the long range. So when it comes to battle tactics, I need to stick with that idea. So radiation.care, hard target, long range defense bonus on ships might be useful, but I don't think will be. Shield, whoa, no, I need something that's damaging. So get lucky again is damaging. I can keep that for some of my fleet, I suppose. Influential I also want to keep. And actually for that reason, influential, yeah, is better than get lucky, so never mind that. Possible analysis, who knows, maybe there will be actually a situation where it's useful. Power to shields. Yeah, the enemy might be able to counter my newest design, that is, with going for something that would be countered by power to shields. But then again, I can also go for barrage fire, which I like the idea of more. So let's go ahead and apply the changes like so. My hero leveled up, well, I know that much, and what do I want to give you is a good question. I'm not entirely sure myself. Extra damage, I would assume, or extra movement of fleets actually is a much better idea. So let's go ahead and do that. I think that has been changed, yeah. Because it didn't used to give you the extra movement. Or maybe it did it? I don't think it did, but I could be wrong. I'm sorry, this patch is throwing me for a loop ever slightly, and I'm not sure what is as it was and what isn't, but either way, this makes this hero even more useful. Not this hero, that hero. So anyway, you just say go to Father ASAP, and let's go ahead and try to discover what's on the other side of it. You murdered this fleet that's really annoying actually, and I would rather it wasn't here, like at all. You can stay here for a while, and I can actually upgrade you. Yeah, I want to, because that repair can be better. What about the slicer? Well, let's keep the slicer as it was, you know, as... I don't know. Just to remind ourselves of the things that used to be. Okay, I'm going to keep the guards at Ibera. You are going to kill those random people that I don't care about. I should have sent somebody to Dania because it is being invaded. But I kind of need to invade the other people more so than I need to keep Dayneb right now. So let's keep that in mind. And also expanded mines, that's kind of important. So let's speed up this thing and start working on expanded mines. Nice and quickly. We're not even close to being done with this 10, mind you. I know, you might be horrified by this fact, but that's how it is. I'm sorry. In fact, should I? Yeah, I probably should move into series because I have ship incoming to series, civilian ship that is, that I want to protect if at all possible. So let's go ahead and move in like so. And you move away from Goblins. I don't care about protecting Goblins, to be entirely honest, since I will have a fleet at series. I do, however, care about going to Beta as quickly as possible and capturing it as quickly as possible. Can I get captured right away, actually? No, I don't have enough tanks. Alright, that's why I send in extra fleets. Alright. Curious needs more stuff. You need more food, most importantly, dear buddy. Rather, bio the approval now. I mean, actually, it might help you. You're only unhappy instead of horribly dissatisfied with how things are going. Now, we're going to have a quick look at system overview. And the system overview, the reason why I want it is because I'm going to go to sort by industry and sort it by zero industry. And I'm going to undo all the planet crackers because I need all the systems that used to have planet crackers on them to instead start giving me, instead start focusing on creating the infinite supermarkets, which is rather important, mind you. And I can also give you some other stuff, like for example fabrication license, which might be important since, you know, I mean, it wouldn't hurt to have it because of how much adamantine I have. So let's go ahead and queue that up. You can also have that, and nothing else that you really care about, so plant cracker, you need that and fabrication license, and plant cracker. And the same thing for everybody that I can. I wish this screen was bigger. That's the change I was thinking that happened, but didn't happen. Oh well, you cannot have everything, I suppose. Things are queued up at the very least, and my systems should stop hating me as much as they are right now, although with just extra 20 or whatever it is approval, I don't think it's going to be good enough. Still, things have certainly happened. Do I want to disable the Spoils of War Act? Maybe. I don't think I'll be fighting that many. I mean, I might be fighting some fleets in the near future, so let's keep it going for a little bit longer. What I am going to turn off though, since right now I don't have a lot of approval yet, I'm going to abolish Us or Them Act, which is going to save me a lot of approval, and instead I'm going to go for Toys for Boys, which is going to give me worse effect, mind you, but it's going to give me some, and I don't desperately need industry production at this point in time, because I just created my new fleet, and I need to gain some more. That's right, instead of going for Plant Cracker and some systems that don't need it, I will do that next then. I'll basically need to have more manpower. Because keep in mind, the manufacturer that used to give me a lot of manpower is now no longer existent. Which is a bit sad. But alas, that is how it is. And I need to deal with that by just converting more of my population into actual manpower. It's rather important, mind you. So, let's go ahead and wait for this turn to finish. Come on, alright, expedition success or Calcix discovered, that's good to know. I might do something with that at some point, but I doubt I ever will. And invasion, are they actually going to capture it? I hope they won't. Yeah, just barely I was able to keep it going, but Sophos they are certainly, you know, keeping a trio, if I may say so myself, but that's okay, because now I have a relief fleet. And high decoration, just one moment, I'll declare war on you in a second. Firstly though, let's kill those ships, make sure that the enemy doesn't have any a way of boosting the support anymore. Go away, I know you're worried, you have every reason to be worried. So there's that thing. Alright, let's declare war on the Horatio. So at least there's that, and with that I will have declared war on every single civilization in this galaxy, which makes me feel rather happy, actually. Also, I don't want to kill Voliani, by the way, in case you're curious. I think you have figured that out by yourselves already. But murdering Voliani is against my goals, because Voliani gave me approval by simply existing and being at war with me. So I want them to have some kind of action somewhere. Alright, let's see. You decide, keep going, let's keep looking for the Horatio homeworld. That's rather important. Select all and merge. Scavengers, well, yeah, we're going to deal with the scavengers in a second, but Yudu says you need to have the heroine that we all wait and love and deserve. There we go. Now she is going to be able to guide our systems all the way to Wasat within 2 turns. Let's go! Let's go! This is going to be awesome. Oh wait, where is it going? Oh, it's going to Nusakan first. And then to Wasat? Well then stop at Nusakan. Like, oh, I see, that's an interesting move, I like that. Stop on Nusakan and unleash some probes. I can see that there's a system over there and there. Maybe there's another. So maybe I'll be able to move faster in that way. And let's go ahead and destroy Gaunt ship, because why not? Also, so that just so we have this job done for a later point in time, let's prepare our battle card for Annihilators to use. So we are mostly long range, I think that goes without saying. And on close range we lose some of our effectiveness. So barrage fire is going to be the thing, and I want carry in the middle and bottom fleet, because the top fleet is where you want your tanks to be in, the bottom fleet is for the glass cannons, and the middle should be just amazing all around. So going with this kind of setup is not ideal, but if I add a hero to the top flank rather, and keep a Reaper there, a single Reaper could be enough, or might not be enough. So to have another Reaper at the top flank, to keep it nice and tanky. Annihilators themselves are extremely tanky right now compared to the technology the enemy has, I would assume. And the Reaper is going to boost the middle one's survivability, and the exercise is always nice and welcome, just in case the enemy actually gets to a close range. And as for you, the says, well actually you shouldn't be in the top range, because this is the one that's most likely to get into close range. So should I change things around for that reason and have you over here and these guys in the bottom? Well, no. Actually, I don't know how the enemy is going to set up, because the way I wanted to set up my ships was working the last versions of the patch, but now the enemies might work differently. I'll think about it in just when I actually have to fight against a true AI fleet. Right now I don't. That's just a random gouge. But this setting will be saved up and will be ready for me when I resume recording next turn. I mean next time I record actually, not literally next turn. Alrighty then. With that, I'm going to end this video. Ladies and gentlemen, it was PANCZASU, also known as the Mighty Mix Spammer. Sorry, I know it's only been 3 times or whatever, but things have changed. The game has changed and I'm very excited for that. Thank you for watching and I'll see you online.